Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Robert Young in an episode of Father Knows Best from the final season of the radio show, January 21st, 1954, The Mink Coat Woes. And we thank you for tuning in on this Friday. This is the 21st day of January, the 345 days remaining until we get to 2022. Jefferson Davis resigned from the Senate on this date in 1861 in a prelude to the Civil War. Opel manufactured its first automobile on this date in 1899. I know nobody remembers the Opel. New York City passed the Sullivan Ordinance on this date in 1908, making it illegal for women to smoke in public. The measure was vetoed by the mayor. Kiwanis International, founded in Detroit on this date in 1915. Vladimir Lenin died on this date in 1924, a lengthy power struggle emerging between Leon Trotsky and Joseph Stalin, culminating to the latter's consolidation of power in 1928. Alger Hiss convicted of perjury on this date in 1950.
I first knew him as Crosley. What his name is today, I am not prepared to testify to, or what other names he may have had.
Mr. Hiss is lying.
Mr. Hiss is lying. In other words, his story is a pure fabrication out of the whole thing.
I would say that it's 80% at least fabrication.
Alger Hiss was a State Department official involved in the establishment of the United Nations. He was believed to be a Soviet spy and was convicted of perjury in 1950 due to the testimony of former fellow spy Whittaker Chambers. The first nuclear-powered submarine, the Nautilus, launched in Groton, Connecticut on this date in 1954 by then First Lady Mamie Eisenhower. A B-52 bomber crashed near Thule Air Force Base in 1968, contaminating the area after its nuclear payload ruptured. One of the four bombs remains unaccounted for. Now, President Carter, on this date in 1977, pardoned nearly all American Vietnam War draft evaders, some of whom had emigrated to Canada. The move met with mixed reaction, praised by former presidential candidate George McGovern.
Well, I've been advocating this course ever since 1971. I think it makes sense. These young men who stood up against the war were right, in my judgment, in their conclusions about the war. They've paid a heavy price already in the anxiety, in some cases the exile and prison sentences that have pursued them. I think it's time to put that war behind us and to heal the wounds. This is a long, long stride in that direction.
But others disagreed.
We'd certainly like to see him say something. Just anything regarding the man who served his country honorably in time of war. There's too many veterans today are asking what good it does them to have an honorable discharge. And certainly I've come to the conclusion after his announcement today that it's just another piece of paper.
Now, because January 20th fell on a Sunday, President Reagan's public inauguration for his second term moved to Monday, January 21st. Due to bad weather, it was held indoors in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol.
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear
I, Ronald Reagan, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. Help me God.
So help me God.
In 1997, Newt Gingrich became the first leader of the House to be internally disciplined for ethical misconduct. In one of the largest drug busts in American history in 1999, a Coast Guard intercepted a ship with over 9,500 pounds of cocaine on board. And it was on this date In 2010, former Democratic presidential candidate John Edwards finally admitted fathering a child during an affair before his second White House bid. This passing away on this date in history: George Orwell, Cecil B. DeMille, Alfalfa in the Our Gang comedies, Carl Schweitzer, musician Jackie Wilson, Elvis's manager Colonel Tom Parker, actor Jack Lord, singer Peggy Lee, Kay Ballard, who was in The Mothers-in-Law with Eve Arden, and Monty Python's Terry Jones. Born on this date in history: Telly Savalas, Stonewall Jackson, Benny Hill, whose shows still run to this day. They are very, very funny. Actor Steve Reeves, Wolfman Jack, baby. I can't do that. My voice won't do that. Musician Richie Haven, singer Edwin Starr, and Mac Davis, all born on this date in history. Spanish tenor Placido Domingo, 81. Polish power Ivan Putski, 81 years old. Billy Ocean, Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car, 72 today. Actor Robert Benson, 66, as is Gina Davis, also 66 today. Baby Spice Emma Bunton, 46. Her husband is Mike Mazzani. He is in the WWE, so is she, and they have a reality show such as it is on USA, Ms. and Mrs. And Maurice Olay, 39 years of age today, and from Twilight and X-Men, Boo Boo Stewart is 28. Those some of the people celebrating birthdays on the 21st day of January. If this is your birthday,
hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say happy birthday to you.
From 68 years ago, January 21st, 1954, Robert Young, Father Knows Best, on this Friday, Classic Radio Theater.
Here's some great news. If you missed the deadline to sign up for health insurance, or if, like a lot of people, you just have a plan you're not happy with, you still have a choice. It's called MediShare. It's a Christian healthcare sharing program. There are more than 400,000 members now, and they love it. In fact, MediShare has double the customer satisfaction rate compared to that of health insurance. And MediShare really is the gold standard when it comes to healthcare sharing. It's been around more than 25 years. Members have shared more than $4 billion of each other's medical bills. Plus, MediShare is for you. It has saved its members billions by advocating on their behalf. Best of all, the typical savings for a family is around $6,000 a year. So if you think you're stuck with a high-cost health plan that doesn't have much to offer, think again. MediShare has a 98% customer satisfaction rating, and you are invited to be part of it. Call now. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Thanks for spending part of your Friday with us here on Classic Radio Theater. Now we go back 68 years. January 21st, 1954. Robert Young, Father Knows Best. If you've seen the TV show, you'll notice this is a little different.
Now listen to Father Knows Best, transcribed starring Robert Young as Father. Welcome to Springfield and another half-hour visit with the folks in the White Frame House on Maple Street. Sit back and enjoy life with the Andersons. Kathy, Bud, Betty, Margaret, and Jim, as the head of this typical American household, again sets out to prove that Father knows best. Now, ordinarily, a Saturday morning at the White Frame House on Maple Street is the time when the Anderson family takes a change of pace from the week's work, and the tempo of life is generally relaxed and rather easygoing. And it might have been that way this Saturday morning if daughter Betty had not come in with what sounded like a harmless piece of news. Like this.
Mother! Mother!
We're in the den, Betty.
Mother, guess what? I just came from Janie Liggett's, and guess what?
Well, what's happened now?
Princess, your mother and I are going over last month's bills. Don't tell us anything that costs money.
Well, you remember me telling you about Janie's aunt, the rich one?
That's what we need, a rich aunt.
Oh, Father, please.
All right, all right.
Janie Liggett's aunt bought a mink coat.
Well, good for her.
Oh, it's full length, clear down to here. It must have cost simply thousands.
Well, I suppose it would be nice to have a coat like that if the person could afford it.
Oh, it's so beautiful. Father, why don't you buy Mother a mink coat?
Why, sure. Next time you're downtown, honey, pick up 2 or 3.
Oh, Father, I'm in earnest.
I'm in debt. Princess, with this stack of bills piled up here, it's not exactly the time to talk about buying a mink coat.
Don't worry, dear. I'm perfectly happy with the coat I have.
Of course, but it seems to me that any man who cared at all about his wife would at least think about buying her a mink coat.
Well, I've thought about it. But what happens when a woman gets a mink coat?
I'd have to get all new dresses to wear with it.
Oh, fiddle.
And with new dresses and a mink coat, your mother couldn't be seen riding in our 3-year-old car. We'd have to get a new car.
Oh, I give up. Every time I make a sensible suggestion, Father has to be a comedian. I'm going upstairs.
I love those sensible suggestions.
Oh, I wonder what it would be like to have a mink coat in the closet.
For that matter, we already have fur in the house. There's that neck piece of yours that we bought in Chicago. And those fur mittens of mine. I can't for the life of me see why women feel that a coat made out of the skins of a bad-tempered member of the weasel family can suddenly create a whole new pattern of life.
I didn't say that, dear. All I said was that...
Mom! Hey, Mom!
I'm in the den, Bud.
Oh, where were we on these bills?
Where are you, Mom? Oh, hi.
Hello, Bud.
Hi, Dad. You home?
No, I'm down harvesting onions in Bermuda.
Oh.
Your mother and I are checking over some bills here, Bud. What is it?
Joe and I just decided something.
Well, good. Now,
we're not going to take any more money from our folks anymore.
Now, there's the brightest thought of the day.
What brings this on, Bud?
Nothing. We just decided.
And a very good decision. Let's not question it.
The way it is, having an allowance, we can only spend so much and then we're broke.
Yes, this I understand.
But if we quit having an allowance and get jobs and earn our own money, then there's no limit to how much we can spend.
Well, I'm not quite sure I follow your reasoning there. But you go ahead. I'm all for it.
I don't think you can earn all your money and go to school, Bud.
Sure I can. I already got a job at Snow's drugstore 2 afternoons a week. I'm on the board.
Switchboard?
Sandwich board. You know, ham on wheat, hold the mustard, grind a cow and hold the weepers.
Grind a cow and hold the weepers.
Hamburger, no onions. I know all that stuff, and I'll make enough to pay for everything except my lunches at school.
Well, I'll give you enough for your...
No, we're gonna do this, Dad. I'm gonna get another job, and that'll pay for my lunches.
All right, if you say so.
Guy's gotta get used to paddling his own canoe. Hey.
What is it, Bud?
Maybe I could save up enough to buy a canoe. I'm hungry. What's in the kitchen to eat?
There's nothing out there. I looked. Hi, Mommy. Hi, Daddy.
Hello, Angel.
Hello, kitten.
I need some clothes.
Clothes?
Uh-oh, we're back on the other side of the ledger.
You have plenty of clothes.
But I need some I can trade. Patty Davis and I are starting a swap shop.
Swap shop? Don't you mean swap shop?
Yeah, where we trade clothes. Can I have some clothes to trade, Mommy?
Well, look around in the attic, but don't take anything good.
I'll just take some old stuff.
Betty, answer the door, will you? Probably for you anyway.
I'll get it.
Now, where were we, dear?
I've lost track. I don't know how you get anything done around here.
It isn't easy, dear.
What have you got in the... Oh, you brought it over. Mother, come here, Father.
What in the world did Janie bring over?
It can't be anything less than Perry Como.
Look, Mother, look. Here it is.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's Janie's aunt's mink coat.
Hello, Mrs. Anderson, Mr. Anderson.
Hello, Janie.
Oh, dear. Say, that's a nice-looking coat, Janie.
Nice looking, he says. Nice looking. Oh, feel it, Mother. Just feel it.
Jim.
I brought it over to ask you a favor, Betty. My aunt's out of town for the weekend, and she left the coat with us, and now we're all going away, and Mother doesn't want to leave the coat with nobody in the house.
That is a problem.
What you need is a coat sitter.
Well, sort of. You see, my aunt paid over $3,000 for it. Would you mind if I left it here, Mr. Anderson?
Oh, please, Father, please.
Well, it's all right with me if there's room in the closet.
Oh, you're sweet, Father.
Put it on, Mrs. Anderson.
Oh, I don't think I should.
Oh, go on, Mother. Let's see how you look in it.
Well,
here, I'll hold it for you.
Oh, Jim.
Careful, Margaret.
Oh, you look simply divine, Mother.
Isn't it terrific? Oh, you should put this on, Jim.
Well, there's much point in it. Very few men are wearing mink coats these days.
Well, my father's waiting for me out in front. Thanks a lot for keeping the coat. We'll pick it up this afternoon.
Oh, there's no hurry, Janie.
Imagine $3,000.
You look great in it, honey.
I can imagine with this house dress.
Turn around, Mother. Let's see it in the back. Oh, isn't it positively the most perfectly, excruciatingly, fantastically wonderful coat you've ever seen?
It's too lovely for words. Oh, real mink. I feel just like a queen.
Hey, Mom, you better come out in the kitchen. The sink's plugged up.
Well, that certainly turned my coach into a pumpkin.
What you wearing a coat in the house for?
Bud, do you know what kind of a coat that is?
Some kind of brown fur.
That's wild mink. $3,000 worth.
What?
Oh, boy, a fur coat.
Is that what it costs? $3,000?
$3,000? I gotta go tell Patty David.
I don't know if we should hang that in the front closet or not. That's an awful lot of money. I hope it's insured. You'd better find a place to hide it, Betty.
Well, don't worry. I'll find a place for us.
Why? Guy could make dough raising minks. I wonder how you raise wild minks.
Well, probably not easy.
I guess when the mink starts thinking how much dough they're going to get for his hide, that's what makes him wild.
I wouldn't be at all surprised. Now, Bud, your mother and I were trying to get some...
It must be a conspiracy to keep us away from these bills.
Hello. Oh, hello, Ed. Congratulations on what? Who told you that? Now, Ed, wait a minute.
What's wrong, dear?
I'm going over to Joe's.
Yeah, but Ed, I can't hear you with all that racket over there. No, I can't get away today. But I wish you'd explain what you're... All right. Goodbye.
Why the furrowed brow?
Ed Davis called me up to congratulate me.
For what?
On selling that $2 million insurance deal to the steel company. I haven't sold that policy yet, probably never will. I've been working on it for years.
Well, what made him think you'd sold it?
Search me. He had a bunch of fellows from the downtown businessmen's club over there. Wanted me to play golf with them this afternoon.
Do you suppose he was...
Ed doesn't drink. If that's Ed calling back, I'm going to... Hello? Oh, yes, she's here. Just a moment. It's for you, honey.
Oh. Hello? Yes? Oh, yes. Mrs. Wynne Sheridan. I remember.
Mrs. Wynne Sheridan?
Next Tuesday? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but I have a PTA meeting that afternoon. Why, yes, I'd love to. Well, thank you so much for calling. Goodbye.
Did you say Win Sheridan?
Now, how do you explain that? I met her just once a long time ago. Now she wants me to come to a bridge luncheon.
He's the biggest automobile dealer in town.
She's the social leader of Springfield. Why is she calling me all of a sudden? And so sweet on the phone. You'd think I was a member of the royal family.
Ed Davis, and now this.
Dear, there's no explanation for it, but all this seems to have started since that mink coat arrived.
You're right. Something happened. There's a difference. Things are not the same.
But why? It makes us feel like a couple of idiots.
Exactly. But one thing we do know, honey, right now we're two of the most popular idiots in town.
Act 2 of Father Knows Best in just a moment.
Jim Anderson on the TV version of Father Knows Best would never talk as harshly to his kids as the radio version, because the radio version was played more for comedy, and the TV show was meant to be a more warm show. At least that's what Robert Young wanted, and he got it. From 68 years ago, January 21st, 1954, Father Knows Best on this Friday Classic Radio Theater. The news from 68 years ago today comes up next.
What does it mean to be an American? Just what are our American values? Working hard to succeed, loving God, country, and family, being honest, strong, and compassionate.
Supporting our Constitution and recognizing that we are blessed to be living in America, the greatest country in the world.
Our Bill of Rights protects us, our freedoms of worship, speech, and privacy, our right to own firearms, our right to trial by jury,
our right to be free, to live our own lives without some bureaucrat telling us what to do. Most countries don't have these rights.
Want to know more? It's all there in the book. Get your own free book, The U.S. Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Then read it again, and this time share it with your friends. Our great Constitution is the basis of all of our freedoms, our inalienable rights. Get your own copy at freeusbook.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
And you're listening to Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station, an episode of Father Knows Best starring Robert Young, as it was broadcast Thursday, January 21st, 1954. In the newspapers of that Thursday, 68 years ago, these were some of the headlines. The last 21,809 anti-communist prisoners of war marched back to the Allies today in the cold, drizzling darkness of early morning. The return of the Chinese and North Korean prisoners from the neutral zone was completed without a major incident, while a North Korean broadcast protested the action destroyed the armistice. The Indian command said 104 out of the thousands decided not to come back at the last moment. They remained in the neutral zone with 93 other former UN command POWs and 39 former Red POWs, including 21 Americans who don't want to go home. President Eisenhower sends to Congress today a trimmed-down federal budget to finance the government through the 1955 fiscal year starting next July 1st. It will be the first complete budget in 21 years from a Republican administration, and congressional leaders are predicting it'll be about $3 billion out of balance. The Republican senator from New Hampshire, Senator Bridges, chairman of the Senate Appropriations Committee, said January 3rd that Eisenhower was aiming at holding the deficit within that figure. Supporters of the St. Lawrence Seaway, after 20 years of effort last night, won Senate approval of legislation to authorize the U.S. to join with Canada in building the controversial project. Passage of the bill, which the pro-Seaway forces had been freely predicting since the beginning of debate a week ago, came on a roll call vote, 51 senators voting yes and 33 no. It was a bipartisan vote, which gave President Eisenhower a victory in the first major item of his program to come before the Senate this session. A beaming President Eisenhower got a surprise gift from his cabinet, a handsome crystal cup depicting highlights of his career as he began his second year in the White House yesterday. The 63-year-old chief executive, described by an aide as thriving on the challenge of perhaps the toughest job in the world, received the gift while cabinet members, Republican Party officials, and leaders of the Citizens for Eisenhower Committee and White House assistants looked on. A twin-engine American Airlines Convair made a belly landing in a field after taking off from the Buffalo airport, and 21 passengers and 3 crew members walked away from the wreck. An American Airlines official said a few passengers were shooken up, none injured seriously. A new age will dawn today with the launching of the first atomic submarine potentially capable of cruising around the world without surfacing. The $55 million Nautilus, the first craft to be propelled by atomic energy, will slide into the water after being christened by Mrs. Dwight D. Eisenhower. A host of dignitaries, headed by Naval Secretary Robert B. Anderson, will watch as a bottle of champagne is smashed across the bow. The Republican congressman from Wisconsin, Lawrence H. Smith, is calling for a coffeeless Wednesday each week in an effort to clamp a lid on soaring coffee prices. Smith said the working men in his Wisconsin district are demanding a good cup of coffee for 5 cents, and it should be available to them for that price. He made his proposal as Senator A.S. Mike Monroney, the Democrat of Oklahoma, and some restaurant operators warn the coffee industry it's going to drive coffee drinkers to tea, chocolate, or heaven forbid, milk if it keeps on raising prices. And those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Thursday, January 21st, 1954, on your radio, Father Knows Best. The conclusion next on this Friday Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. Well, you've heard me talk about Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and how his pillow's given me a great night's sleep. He continues to roll out new offers on his products. His latest on the towel sets. Now, towels aren't something you think about. I never knew what I was missing till I tried the towels last year. You've all helped build MyPillow into the incredible company it is today, and trust in Mike Lindell has given you a better night's sleep. Mike's now changing the game with a 6-piece towel set, USA cotton, extremely absorbent, yet still providing that soft feel you look for in the towel. 2 bath, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths for a limited time, $39.95 using our promo code USA. It retails for over $100. Remember, all MyPillow products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the Radio Listener Square, use this promo code USA to get this price of $39.99 on the towels, or call 1-800-951-8175. Saturday's Classic Radio Theater, Paul Dubov, starring in an episode of The Adventures of Frank Race from 72 years ago, 1950. The Adventures of the Nightcrawler, treachery in the live bait business, and Race sees that worm turns. That'll be on Saturday's Classic Radio Theater, but now the conclusion of Father Knows Best, the Mink Coat Woes, from 68 years ago, January 21st, 1954.
Well, has life been a little dull around your house? Not much happening? If you want to liven things up, take a tip from the Andersons. Have a friend of yours leave a mink coat in your closet. Ever since Betty's friend Janie brought her aunt's very expensive mink coat to the Andersons for safekeeping, Margaret and Jim have been flooded with invitations and favors from people who a few hours ago were almost total strangers. How do Jim and Margaret feel about all this? Well, they don't understand it. They like it.
Oh, this is perfect, Jim. Next Friday, we're invited to the Carmichaels for dinner and the symphony afterward.
When did that come?
Just now, while you were out in the kitchen. Messenger brought it.
Carmichael, I've met him. He owns the big music store downtown.
Dear, I'll just have to buy a new dress to wear.
Well, sure, go ahead.
Possibly a pair of slippers. My gold ones are almost worn out.
Well, okay.
I think it's simply too utterly exciting the way things are happening to you and Mother. What's the score so far?
Well, 9 invitations, 2 boxes of candy, and 1 electric rotisserie.
Where'd the rotisserie come from?
A man brought it. From the Acme Appliance Company. Insisted on leaving it for me to try out. No obligation and all that.
Well, you see, Father, life is different when you have a mink coat.
But we don't have a mink coat. We're just sitting with one. Anyway, it doesn't explain our sudden popularity.
Well, why question it?
Who's questioning it?
Gee, I wish I could think of a real good place to hide the coat. Every place I put it, I ask myself, where would I look for a mink coat if I knew one was hidden? And that's always the place.
Yes. Well...
Jim, a car just drove in the driveway. Look through the window here.
Oh.
Wow, who do we know who drives a car like that?
You'd better go out and see who it is, dear.
He must have the wrong house.
Oh, I didn't know they made cars that long.
What a dream. Can't you picture yourself driving down the street in that?
One person couldn't operate it. You'd have to have a crew.
The man seems to be arguing with Father about something.
What in the world? The man's leaving, getting into another car.
Here comes Father. We'll find out what it's all about.
Jim, what in the
this
world?
is carrying it too far. We've got to do something about this.
What's the matter?
That Sultan's chariot out there. Nothing I could say had the slightest effect. The fellow insisted that we take it.
Oh, no.
Really, Father?
Drive it, he said. Try it out. Keep it as long as you like. He wouldn't take no for an answer.
Who sent it out?
Somebody at the Wynn Sheridan.
And Mrs. Wynn Sheridan called me, remember?
Margaret, the fog is beginning to lift. I think the light is beginning to filter through.
Hey, who parked that gold-plated rocket ship in our driveway?
Wynn Sheridan belongs to the Downtown Businessmen's Club. He must have been over at Ed Davis's when Ed called to congratulate me on selling that fabulous policy that I didn't sell.
Where did that millionaire's hot rod come from?
That bunch of businessmen flashed the word around town that we had hit the jackpot, rolling in money.
But who told the businessman?
It must have been Ed Davis.
Who told Ed Davis?
Who owns the boss?
Just listen, Bud, and you'll get the whole thing.
I've been listening, and I haven't got anything yet.
No one could have told Ed that I sold that policy. He must have jumped to the conclusion from... Wait a minute. Where is Kathy?
Look no further, dear. The solution has arrived.
You call me Daddy?
Kitten, what did you tell Mr. Davis?
I told him we had a mink coat at our house that it cost $3,000.
Well, there you have it. That explains everything.
Did I tell something I shouldn't have, Daddy?
No, kitten, you just didn't tell quite enough. Principally that the $3,000 coat was not ours.
Oh, yeah. Forgot that.
Oh, I can't figure what you're talking about. I'm going down and see about a job.
I'll go back and tell Mr. Davis. I got some clothes to trade with Patty anyway.
Of all the silly things. What are you going to do with the car and all those things?
Oh, we'll send them all back.
Father, look out the window.
Oh, for Pete's sake, what are they bringing in now?
You'd better open the door, dear.
I tell you, there's never a dull moment with a mink coat around.
What in the world are those men carrying?
Yes?
Mr. Anderson?
Yes?
Delivery from the Carmichael Music Company.
Well, you'll have to take it back, my friend. There's been a little mistake.
You, Mr. Anderson?
Yes?
No mistake. Bring it in, boys.
But we didn't order anything from the Carmichael Music Company.
I don't know anything about the orders. We just deliver. Where do you want this?
Well, what is it?
Combination radio, television, phonograph, and barbecue. And high fidelity.
The room isn't big enough for it.
I don't make the rooms, miss. We just deliver.
Well, you can't stand there holding it.
Oh, you're so right.
You'd better put it down here in the living room.
Hey, why they send a thing like this out on free trial, I'll never know. You know how much this thing cost, Mr. Anderson?
Well, no.
$1,750. That's without the charcoal.
1,700?
You must be loaded. Goodbye.
Well, what do we do with it?
Well, what can we do with it? Hook it up, play it. We may as well enjoy all these things. They were forced on us. If they insist that we take a free trial, okay, we'll take it.
Well, before I do anything else, I've got to find a place to put that coat.
Imagine us with a new car a block long and a $1,700 radio.
Oh, what can we do about it, honey? The things are here. We're not out anything. Let's have fun.
Oh, no, not again.
Look out the window, honey. If they're carrying something or driving something, we'll turn out the lights and hide.
No, as far as I can see, it's just a man with a briefcase.
Well, let him in. The worst we can get is a free trial on a briefcase.
Whatever it is, dear, just explain to him.
Yes, sir, what can I do for you?
Mr. Anderson?
Yes?
I'm from the tax collector's office.
Tax collector?
May I come in?
Why, yes, but...
Thank you. Clausen is my name. Here's my card.
Oh. Well, that is...
I was sent out to reappraise your personal property.
Come into the living room.
Thank you.
This is, Mrs. Anderson, Mr. Clausen.
How do you do?
How do you do? Did I hear you say you were from the tax collector's office?
That is correct. Our office understands there has been, shall we say, a considerable improvement in your financial status.
Well, I'm afraid you made the trip out here for nothing, Mr. Clausen. The story about our financial improvements was just one of those rumors. No truth to it at all. Absolutely none.
It all started with the silliest sort of mistake.
That car in your driveway, it's new, isn't it?
Yes,
worth, as it stands, about $6,000.
6,000?
The tax on that would be...
No, wait. That car isn't ours. They sent it out on approval.
Well, it will be yours after you buy it. It's all the same to us.
But we're not going to buy it.
Then why did you have it sent out?
We didn't have it sent out.
Someone just drove a $6,000 car into your driveway and left it?
That's just what happened.
Mr. Anderson, you are pulling my leg.
No, I'm not. That's the truth.
I've been with the tax office for 12 years, and I've heard a lot of stories. This one isn't bad. Now, let me get my papers out here and write this down. 1 super deluxe 10-passenger sedan, $6,000.
But, Mr. Clausen...
Oh, quite a radio phonograph combination you have there.
Now, wait, hold on.
That's new, isn't it?
But it's not ours.
Worth about $1,600, I should say. How did you make your money, Mr. Anderson? Oil?
Look, I haven't made any money. The car and this radio, they were sent out to us. We knew nothing about it.
Well, I would like to believe that, of course.
Mr. Clausen, I'm fairly well respected in the community. I'm an honest man. I believe in being open and above board about everything.
Oh, Father, I found a wonderful place to hide the mink coat.
Hide the mink coat?
Oh, no.
Betty.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know there was anyone here.
Well, young lady, you spilled the beans. Now, let's quit playing games, Mr. Anderson. What do you have beside the mink coat? Any diamond necklaces?
Mr. Clausen, believe me, the mink coat is not ours.
Oh, come now, a man with your money.
Betty, this is the tax man. Tell him.
It's not our coat. We're just keeping it for a friend of mine while she's out of town.
You know, there are times when I wish I had gone into another line of work. How much did you pay for the coat?
We didn't pay for the coat.
But you do have it.
Yes.
That's all I want to know. Now, if you'll just tell me how much you have...
Don't open the door.
Well, we'd better see who it is, Father. Hi, Betty. Janie. Father, it's Janie.
Oh, bless that girl.
Come on in quick. What's the matter? The tax collector's here.
Janie, this is Mr. Clausen from the tax office. Will you please tell him?
I'll go get the coat.
Does this mink coat we're talking about belong to you, young lady?
No, it belongs to my aunt. I'm Janie Liggett. If you come over to our house, my father will tell you.
Here it is.
Well, thanks a lot for keeping it for us, Mr. Anderson. Well, Dad's waiting. I gotta run by. Bye.
Well, Mr. Clausen, are you convinced?
On the coat, yes, but the car and the radio...
It all started with the coat. Our small daughter told the neighbors we had a $3,000 mink coat. And the word spread that Mr. Anderson had sold a big insurance policy.
We were the most popular people in town.
Oh, I think I understand now. I have a small daughter myself.
You see, we're not rich, Mr. Clausen. In fact, sometimes it's hard to make the money stretch.
Oh, I know just how it is.
Just this morning, Mrs. Anderson and I were going over the bills. We're so far away from owning a car like that one out there, or this expensive radio.
Oh, money doesn't go as far as it used to.
Hey, Dad, Mom, I got a job. Now I can buy my lunch at school.
What?
Bud, you'd better explain that.
Hey, Mommy, I've been over at the swap shop. I got me some real good clothes. Hardly any holes at all.
Now, wait a minute, Kathy.
Oh, Mr. Anderson.
What?
Lunches. Old clothes. I have kids of my own, you know. Here, let me give you $5 to tide you over.
It's not as bad as it looks, Mr. Clausen. You keep the $5. Someday you may want to buy your wife a mink coat.
Well, it's the end of a busy Saturday at the White Frame House on Maple Street. The mink coat has gone back to its owner, and quiet again settles on the Anderson family. The children are in bed. Margaret and Jim are having their quiet talk.
What a day.
Oh, it was a lively one.
I never want to hear another telephone or another doorbell.
I'm glad you sent the car and the radio back this evening. Seems like we're back to normal now.
You know, I'm glad you're not crazy about mink coats.
Oh, but I am.
What?
In fact, Wilson's department store is having a sale on mink tomorrow. I'm going down.
What are you going to buy?
Some kitchen curtains.
You're a smart girl.
I'm not so sure if I am or not.
Join us again next week when we'll be back with Father Knows Best, starring Robert Young as Jim Anderson. Father Knows Best is an NBC Radio Network production in cooperation with Cavalier Enterprises. In our cast were Helen Strome as Kathy, Gene Vanderpyle, Rhoda Williams, Ted Donaldson, Mary Lee Robb, and Parley Bear. Father Knows Best, based on characters created by Ed James, is written by Paul West and Roswell Rogers, directed by Arthur Jacobson, and transcribed in Hollywood. This is Bill Foreman speaking.
Boy, the rumor mill does get things percolating, doesn't it? From 68 years ago, January 21st, 1954, Father Knows Best on Classic Radio Theater. Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream. You can get all of our social media information there. You can also learn more about classic radio collecting. You can hear our shows on demand, and you can contact me there, classicradio.stream. And don't forget that our programs are available on demand through any podcast app, including iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast. All you have to do is search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's different than it has been. It's a new link, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. And you can get the link to Spreaker at our webpage, classicradio.stream. Please do me a favor and thank this radio station and support their advertisers. It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around. And we appreciate them so much. Have yourself a great weekend, won't you please? Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater, right here on your favorite radio station.